he had ever hurt my baby girl, what I would do to him.
But friends say he's not a killer.
Well, he works in class, and he's always a kid, he works a lot.
Instead, they describe the suspect and the victim
Okay, people.
as a happy couple.
Please like and share. Please like and share. We have a 1 hour special today because yesterday I wasn't able to touch on the Yankees. But we're going to touch on the Yankees today. And we are also going to talk about coaching in Long Island. Coaching in Long Island. Different than anywhere else. I don't know about everywhere else. Chan, what's good with you, baby? I don't know about everywhere else. I know about the city, and I know about Long Island. And you know, these city people, like I'm talking to these city people now, they think the kids in the city have bigger issues than the kids in Long Island. So close. They never left. They never passed the state trooper station on Long Island, on the southern state, but they're gonna tell you what kind of kid grows up in Long Island. It's amazing to me. These city dudes are the worst. These city dudes are the worst. They don't know nothing outside of Brooklyn and Queens. Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. Or Manhattan. Most of them don't even have cars. So they're not even willing to take the train out to Long Island. Unless it's some type of barbecue or something. So they don't even know what they're talking about. And it's a pain in the ass. I go to Queens. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Queens. I'm in Long Island. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in Manhattan. Please like and share. Please like and share. We have it all. Again, rappers, actors, singers, celebrities, hood celebrities. Show normal time is from Monday, 6 to 8, and Wednesdays, 6 to 8. Tony Biondo, what's good? Angela Kostick, what's up, baby? But before we touch on these subjects today, please remember we have the Not Just Sports by No Leps contest. Bryant Porter, what's good, baby? Not Just Sports by No Leps contest. That means if you follow me on Instagram, you have another week left to do this, people. You have another week left. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Like and share my Facebook page. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do all those things, it gives me the top eight division winners in the professional football this year. You can win $250, a hat, and a t-shirt. All you got to do is give me the top 8 division winners. You do that, $250, a hat, and a t-shirt. Okay. Don't forget www.busamove.com. Also, don't forget Intercontinental Capital Group Incorporated. That's ran by Stacy Saunders at 1400 Old Country Road, Suite 200A. If you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to get a mortgage, buy a home, you need to learn about a mortgage, you need to hit up Stacy. She'll give you all the ins and outs. Her office number is 516-723-6462. Her cell phone number is 516-984-4324. Her fax number is 516-706-4938. And her email is ssaunders@icghome.com. Okay, so let me get started. As most of you know, I coach. I coach football, high school football, high school basketball, and high school girls softball. I love coaching. I love coaching. I didn't know what my niche was in life. Didn't know what it was supposed to be. But I found my niche in life with coaching. I for the most part, most of the kids that I coached are extremely successful. Most of them. There's always some that go awry or whatever. But most of them are extremely successful. And most of all, most of them are alive. Most of them are alive. Last year, when I went to Xanu Simpson's funeral, I believe Xanu was the first kid that I coached that died. Xanu was killed in Queens. So I love coaching. I started in Queens, and I don't talk about it a lot because it's emotional to me. I started in Queens as a volunteer coach at Bayside High School. Actually, I started with the Pop Warner, with the Long Island. I'm in Long Island. The Queens Rifles, Springfield Rifles. Started with them. Went to high school. Started with Bayside High School with my boy Joe Capuano, to whom I'm friends with to this day. Joe Capuano, me and him started on the JV together. He became the head coach along with Jim DeSantis as his assistant, Joe Stango as his assistant, Andre Barnes, and myself. I was there for, I believe, 5 years and coached a lot of great kids in the city. A lot of great kids in the city. A lot of kids grew up in Far Rockaway. Kids who lived in Far Rockaway went to school at Bayside. Now, if you know anything about Queens and Far Rockaway and where Bayside is, that's almost a 2-hour bus ride. Samuel Blackwell, what's up, baby? Slug, what's good with you? That's almost a 2-hour bus ride. So you talk about getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to school that starts at 7. From there, I went to Amityville. That was actually my first paying job. I was a volunteer coach for almost 8 years. My first paying job was at my alma mater, Amityville High School. And that's where I learned a lot of things about coaching in Long Island. See, coaching in Long Island is different than anywhere else. You have to be board approved. And board approved means there's board members. They usually consist of 5 to 7. I've seen 7 board members, 5 to 7 people. And you have to be a politician. You have to be a politician to more or less sell yourself to these people. One of my weakest attributes is being a politician. As you notice, I don't even talk a lot of politics on here. I'm not a big politician. What I am is I'm a football coach. I'm the real deal. And listen, let me tell you something. I didn't start out as a great football coach. I made myself a great football coach with people like Joe Capuano and Jim DeSantis and Joe Stango. We went to so many clinics when we was younger. Nike clinic, Penn State clinic. I got pictures with Tom Osborne and Gary Barnett. We went to so many clinics, and you get to learn different things. You get to learn techniques and different attributes in coaching. And even my style has changed as a coach, where I was on it. I was on everything, and I'm still on everything. But I was a yeller, and I'm still a yeller, but not as bad as I used to be. A yeller, a screamer, a fighter, a pusher, a shover. I was that guy. And I'm still kind of that guy a little bit. I'm going to push. I'm going to push you. I'm not settling for no bullshit. I can't coach half-ass. Whatever I do, and that's not just coaching. Whatever I do, I can't do half-ass. And as part of my my problem, I guess, is that I'm not capable of just doing it halfway, or capable of doing it sometimes. So when I coach, I coach. When I tell you I'm gonna know everything that other team is doing, I mean I'm gonna know when they get up in the morning. I'm gonna know when they have breakfast. I'm gonna know when they get on the bus. I'm gonna know everything. I feel like that's my job. I feel like that's my job, to convey that to everybody. So when I start coaching in Long Island, and Amityville's my first paying job, and then you begin to learn the politics. Like one time, like my father told me when I took the job, he said, listen, be careful. It's a very political school district. And I didn't realize how political it was until we had a kid on our team who will remain nameless, who really didn't want to play football. He really didn't want to play. But his mom was on the board. His mom was the president of the board. So you got to push this kid a different way. You got to reprimand him a different way. He could miss practice and have no consequence because his mom is the president of the board. So one day he missed practice. No, he didn't miss practice. I'm sorry. One day his mom came to practice with a folding chair and put the folding chair on the 30-yard line and watched us practice while she was knitting. Like, just things go on in a football field, in a locker room, that everybody don't need to be privy to. Today's kid, you can't criticize today's kid. You can't push today's kid the way they should be pushed. You can't. Today's kid wants you to give them everything without paying the dues, doing what it takes to get where they want to be. They're not willing to do that. You could tell a kid, yo, listen, you stink. He's going to go home and cry to his mother, and you might lose your job. When the kid really stinks. Or you have a kid who was great in Pop Warner. He was a great Pop Warner player. And now he comes to varsity and he's too small. Or he done had a growth spurt and now he's not playing the position that he was playing. So now the kid doesn't want to try because he feels like he's not getting the same. And we're doing what's best for the team. What's best for the school. Most of the time, what's best for the kid. Most of the time is what's best for the kid. I don't know of a coach, good or bad. I don't know of a coach, good or bad, that doesn't do what's best for their kid. You can as a parent, you can by supporting coaches and teachers. But Rob Chester, let me tell you something, brother. That don't always happen. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my story. Because we both know Dog Nuts was good. Andy Georges was good. Hi, you horror. We both know that that's not what always happens. So let me give you a little bit of my story. I started out, my first paying job was Amityville. And because I wasn't a politician, and because I didn't know who was who on the board, and because I'm not willing to kiss everybody's ass, and not because, and also not because your mom being on the board or your mom being in the PTA doesn't mean that you can miss practice, that you can be disrespectful and all that other nonsense. That don't mean that to me. So, went through the season at Amityville. We didn't have a great season. And I'm not one for disrespect, and I'm not one to tolerate foolishness. I'm not one to tolerate being late Because black people have this thing where being late is okay. They make fun of it and call it CP time. I'm not one for late. I'm not one for absent. So I had rules in place. I had rules like, if you're late, you see me after practice. We got country club. We getting that pop. We called it country club. Or if you missed the practice, you missed the quarter. And I didn't give a damn who you were. And I still don't. White people late too. Okay. But let me tell you something, Carlton. I got white dudes on my team. If I call practice at 7 o'clock, the first people at practice are those 10 white dudes. All the time. Never fails. But anyway, 2-year supply of t-shirts. No, but anyway, just to give you my story. Kids will show up late. And that is a culture. That is a culture. That is something that's built in the culture. Being late. And I was coming behind the legendary Lenny Matera. Lenny Matera was a legend in Amityville. And he had players who, if it was cold outside, just to give you an example of what would happen. If it was cold outside, one day I pull up to practice and they're out there in sweatpants. And I'm like, why are you out here in sweatpants? Oh no, we have our practice pants on. They're just underneath the sweatpants. We wear sweatpants and hoodies over our uniform. I'm like, what? You can't play. If it's cold outside, you can't play with sweatpants on. So take that shit off and get ready to practice in this cold weather. That's some of the shit that used to go on. So I was the bad guy. I was the bad guy. So being that I was the bad guy in Amityville, my alma mater, which hurt, it hurt. It hurt. Because that's my alma mater. I did things in Amityville. During my playing days. Now in Long Island, you don't get fired. That's the other thing people need to understand. If you got fired, you really did something wrong. Every job in Long Island is up for renewal. Every single coaching position. It's a 1-year deal. Be very, very, very clear on that. Now, there are some coaches in in Long Island, who, they've been there for so long that it doesn't even go up. It doesn't even get posted. You use the boards on layup. Now, yeah, I use the wood. 1-year deal. Every year is a 1-year deal. But there are coaches like Russ Selling from Freeport, Buddy Krumenacker from Farmingdale, Luongo from William Floyd, Vin Massia from East Meadow, Joe Vito from Roosevelt. And I'll talk to you about Joe Vito in a second. Love him. Those jobs ain't going up. Don't ask to apply for them. Nothing. It's not going up. So I was in Amityville for a year. Now, I'm also not one for bullshit. I'm not one to be talking bullshit. Don't talk bullshit to me. I'm just not one for that. Like, I'm a straight shooter. And I'm a straight shooter almost all the time. I'm a straight shooter. I'm a straight guy. I'm going to tell you like it is. Okay? Some people don't like that. I understand some people don't like that. That's why I'm not a good politician. I admit that about myself. But what I am is I'm a hard worker. I'm that coach that sits up all night trying to figure out how to stop 121 buck sweep. I'm that guy. I'm that guy who will watch a game and be like, oh shit, I think I could use that. I'm that coach. I'm that coach who makes everybody accountable. I'm going to make your son or your daughter accountable for her actions. I'm that coach who puts the whole team on a progress report. And I'll talk about that in a second. And I check it. So a lot of people don't like that because a lot of people don't want their kids, they don't want their kids to live in this world of accountability. And my thing is, those 4 years go very fast. Now, I'm also a coach who will yell at you. Who will yell at you when you do wrong. And you know you're doing wrong. I'm also that coach who will hug you when you need a hug. I am also that coach who will feed you when you need some food. I've brought cleats. I've brought gloves. I've brought food. I've brought water. I've had kids stay in my house when I barely had. And I have those kids still come by here to this day. And this is not a toot Knowles horn thing. This is not a toot Knowles horn. I'm painting a picture. So when I'm in Amityville, and some of the kids that I'm B-Funky, what's good? Dal Baldwin, what's up? Abdul, what's up? When I'm in Amityville, and I'm coaching some of the kids whose parents I went to school with, and a small group, because you have North Amityville and you have South Amityville. All right? The South Amityville kids don't go to Amityville High School anymore. There was a time when they did. Rob Chester, right here, is a kid who went to Amityville High School. There was no racial divide. Nothing when I went to school. I loved Rob Chester. I loved Mikey Benedict. I loved Brian Mizell. Billy Mizell. Sorry. Brian Mizell. Billy Mizell. My kid who has a coach that says you have to stop listening to your parents. That's the coach I want. Let me tell you something. Today's kid in South Amityville don't go to Amityville. The North Amityville kids, which is majority black and Hispanic, they go to Amityville. But here's the interesting dynamic. They don't go to board meetings. Their parents don't go to board meetings. So when my name is thrown on the table as a coach who they aspire to have come back next year or not come back next year, the South Amityville parents, to whom I don't know, they're the ones making the decision over the North Amityville parents. When I go to North Amityville, I'm still in North Amityville to this day. When I go to North Amityville the next day, they're like, oh, you're not coming back next year? Why not? Because you didn't go to the board meeting. So they gave me a nice plaque, a nice little send-off saying thanks for being the assistant, but we're not going to hire you back next year. That's basically what it was. So from there, that was okay. That was okay. It hurt because it was my alma mater. But from there, I go to Uniondale High School. Uniondale High School, where I was the head coach for 3 of the 4 years that I was there. And the 4th year was weird. But I was the head coach. Now I could do things on my terms. But another interesting dynamic was I wasn't able to hire my assistants. I wasn't able to hire my. You would figure your head coach would be able to hire assistants. I wasn't able to hire my assistants. I had one assistant that was trying to find something to get me fired. I had another assistant who hated that assistant and was always fighting. Then I had an assistant to whom I was able to hire, and another volunteer assistant to whom I was able to hire. So the assistant who was always trying to get me out the door, when I'm talking to black kids, he's a white male. When I'm talking to black kids about black issues, he tried to call me racist at one point. He tried to call me racist. Then I had him and this other dude fighting over cones. If you ever been to Uniondale High School, you can walk 5 steps and trip over a cone. There's cones everywhere. They were fighting over cones. Like, that's the type of shit that used to go on. So, my first year, it was me taking over the last year's team. The last year's team, again, you have to change the culture. And one thing I could remember, and I'm in a tough conference. Nassau Conference 1 is tough. Freeport, Farmingdale, East Meadow, Hempstead. I can remember trading film. This is back in the days when we traded film too. I can remember back in the day trading film with Buddy Criminac and him saying to me, you got to destroy to rebuild. I remember him telling me that. You got to destroy to rebuild. And then he went out and kicked my ass 47-6. I'm not a good loser either. And we'll talk about that in a second. So that was year 1. I think we went 3-5 or something like that. I come back year 2. Now, because I got rehired in year 2, and I'm not a teacher. I was not a teacher. I was hired as a para or an aide. Okay, so I had certain rules. Like, you couldn't embarrass me. You couldn't be a kid and embarrass me in that school. I worked in the discipline office. So there was no football players in that discipline office. I didn't play that game. You couldn't be in my office because you cut class. You couldn't be in my office because you was insubordinate. You couldn't be in my... No, we're not doing that. You are a direct reflection of me. We're not doing that. So if you got caught, you either had country club or you wasn't playing at all, depending on the severity of your crime. We also had progress reports. This way we kept track of everybody's grades. So when everybody left my football team, they were all eligible for their next sport when they left my football team. That's a fact. We also had dinner. We had Friday night dinner, which they never had before. And we also had Saturday morning breakfast, which they never had before. So me, my wife, they had a concession stand. We had a concession stand. I asked them to build us a concession stand. I literally had to go to Sears and get a shed. Put the shed together and make that our concession stand. While my wife, Mr. Phil Lowe, who's no longer with us, and my godson, Khalif, worked their butts off so we could raise money to have a dinner at the end of the year that was like a ball. It was like this dinner cost easy $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000 by the end of the day. It was like a wedding. And I raised that money myself. So they hired me the next year, and now the Uniondale Teachers Association wants to get rid of me because that's a job that they felt that only teachers should have. And guess what? That's in their contract. Not only is it in their contract, I'm not sure if it's just Uniondale. I think it's Long Island wide. I'm not 100% sure. But a teacher is supposed to get the position over an outsider. They call him an outsider. An outsider is a parent or somebody who works outside the school district. Now, it doesn't matter how qualified you are or you may not be. You could be, I don't know, Bill Belichick. You could be Bill Belichick. If you don't work at that school, Joe Schmo is going to get the job over you. That's how it works in Long Island. It sucks. Because they're doing a major disservice to the kids. A major disservice. And they don't care because they just want to stay out of litigation. So now they're trying to find reasons to fire me. Or have me fired or have me removed. And the one thing they did was they foiled me. Now what is being foiled? Being foiled is they want to find out what's going on with your finances. So I was cleaning up one day and I had about 2 years, because remember I was at Lawrence Road. So I had about 2 to 3 years worth of receipts. Just in a manila envelope, I kept every receipt. Every receipt. So they came to me and they wanted to foil me because they realized in my bank account, there was like $5,000 in change. Well, damn. How's he got $5,000 in change in his bank account? So they tried to have me foiled, thinking I was taking the money. So now my wife was smart enough. She said, don't throw that out. You might need it one day. I didn't throw it out. That next week, I needed that shit. Took it, brought it in. They was like, hey, Mr. Epps, let us take the originals and we'll give them back with you when you're done. No, we're not doing that. You take the originals, I'll make copies of them and get it back. Well, to make a long story short, they went over my shit, found out that I wasn't being foiled, and it took 2 days to get all this shit done. And the best in our biggest week of football against Freeport. Well, we went out and got smacked. 2 years later, they bought up the teacher's contract and they didn't hire me back. Now, I'm also the guy they send to messed up school districts because I'm a strong personality and I'm able to handle those type of kids. That's what they tell you. Go get Epps because Epps might be able to handle these type of kids. But when Epps handles those type of kids, they don't like how Epps handles those type of kids. Because Epps is not tolerating the nonsense. So now I went from Amityville to Uniondale. And when I left Uniondale, that was supposed to be my best team. I brought up about 10 kids as freshmen. And now they're seniors. And I was ready to go. I was ready to probably take over Conference 1. Or not so much take over Conference 1, but be able to be competitive and make some noise. Well, it didn't happen. So now I'm in Hempstead. From there, I go to Hempstead as an assistant coach. And I worked under Antoine Moore. And Hempstead is just different. I'm not talking bad about Hempstead. Nobody's going to get me to talk bad about Hempstead. I'm not piling on to the Hempstead thing. It's just different. Again, I don't tolerate too much nonsense. So from Hempstead, I go to Wine Dance. Again, they want me in these schools that need a strong personality. So I go to Wine Dance. And again, it's just different. But something important happened in Wine Dance. I became the head coach after the first week of the season. I became the head coach. Didn't want to be the head coach there because I knew that I wasn't staying there. So they said to me, well, in order for this program to keep going this year, you're going to have to take this job. Okay, I took the job. Now, again, in Wine Dance, they have this thing called CP time. They're very comfortable with CP time. Practice, they used to get out of school at like 1:30. Maybe 1:45, maybe 1:45 or something like that. Get out of school. Practice wouldn't start till 3 o'clock. And they would still get there late. I put an SMD rule in. There's no reason for you to tell another man to SMD. None. I had a kid come to practice. Derwin was there. I had a kid who come to practice who had a shirt. Now, we have issued them jerseys. Had a shirt that said, "I'm a hot nigga" on it. But then a young man died. A young man died that was playing for Shoreham Wading River that year. And he died playing John Glenn. And there's a rule in place now where you can't hit a kid with your back face to the end zone because that's how the kid died. Hi, baby. Kid died. We were supposed to be playing the next Shoreham Wading River at Wine Dance. Now, when we're playing them at Wine Dance, I'm going back and forth with the athletic director. Should we move the game to their field? But also, I want to make sure that our kids see some empathy. They get some empathy. I wanted to make sure that, that this was a life lesson. I wanted to make sure that this was a life lesson for the kids. So I decided to, me and the athletic director decided to move the game to Shoreham Wading River. So we had kids who didn't get it. Talking about, yo, Epps, that's effed up. That's our home game. This. Ben Lamberson, I'm talking about coaching in Long Island. So I'm at Wine Dance and the kid dies, and the kids don't understand that I'm trying to show them some empathy. We moved the game to Shoreham Wading River. The nicest thing happened. Unbeknownst to me, I'm at home, I'm at work, and the AD calls. And the athletic director calls and says, Mike Lupica from ESPN Radio called, and he wants to have an interview with you about why you moved the game over to Shoreham Wading River. Now, I'm not looking for that. I didn't even know that would possibly happen. I didn't even think anybody would know. All we had to do was call Section 8 and say, listen, we're going to move the game over to Shoreham Wading River so they can honor their kid. So I went out, bought 54 roses, and during the coin toss, we had each kid hand a rose to his brother, to his family, who was on the field. They didn't want us to do that, Shoreham Wading River, because they didn't want to make a big deal out of it, and I understand. But I had to do it because I had to show these kids some empathy. So me and Mike Lupica calls. I have an interview with Mike Lupica. It was about 10 minutes. It was really nice. And we went out to the game, and we proceeded to get our butts kicked 54-0. They made sure they knew how to get to 54 because the kid wore number 54. 54-0. So with all the Uniondale stuff that I had to go through, my paperwork was always good. And that was the blessing from Uniondale. My coaching licenses, my certificates, my first aid, CPR, defibrillator, all that was good because of Uniondale. So at the end of the year, at Wine Dance, they was trying to, I don't know what they was trying to do, to be honest with you. But to make a long story short, because I was the only coach who had all the certifications, I was the head varsity head JV coach for like 2 days. That went awry. Because these kids, I came into the gym to talk to the kids, yada, yada, this. These kids were talking about what they was going to do to me. There was ABC, NBC, Fox, Channel 11, Channel 12, all those trucks in front of the school. Oh, there was a hazing incident. So I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I had to be combative or protect myself from a child. So I went home, I called the AD, I went home, and I told the AD, I said, listen, man, we need to figure something out. Needless to say, I didn't show up to the next game because I was told by the AD not to show up. Let the coaches finish this one game out because Monday they won't be here. yada yada this, yada yada that. A kid gets stabbed at the field. And I wasn't there. And I sincerely think that if I was there, I could have been able to be a buffer. So to make a long story short, I didn't go back to wine dance. It was a mess. So from wine dance, I'm in a situation where my son, my middle son, is now coming up junior high, coming up the ranks junior high. Did I go somewhere else after wine dance, Marie? Oh, I went back to Flushing. I went to Flushing High School as an assistant, as a volunteer assistant. I went to Flushing High School with my man Jim DeSantis. Jim DeSantis, Joe Capuana, Joe Stengel, those guys are home for me. So I applied to other positions. But in Long Island, if you don't work in the school, in Long Island, they don't hire you. If somebody in the school wants the position, if there is, if the cheerleading coach wants the football position, she will get the football position over Bill Belichick, even though he don't work in the school. Now, that's not in all schools, because some schools put football first. Some schools put basketball first. Some schools put band first. So if the qualified band teacher works in, I don't know, Meineke, he's going to get that job. My man Keith Brown, I'm glad he's here. Keith Brown, hold on 1 second because I'm going to bring you on. Keith Brown, don't go anywhere, please. So now, when you are in Long Island, your teacher don't live in the town that you love. He don't live in the town that you support. Don't live in the town. Like, those teachers don't live in, I'm just going to use Uniondale as an example. The teachers don't live in Uniondale, so they don't give a damn about Uniondale. They don't give a damn about the Uniondale kid, because he don't live there. He don't live there. So he don't see what goes on in Uniondale. He don't see that kid in the barbershop. He don't see that kid at the 7-Eleven. So you, as a coach, you got the backing of the community. Like, I had the backing of all the parents. Parents going to board meetings, kids crying. I had a girl named Karen Martinez who walked around the school district, with a sweatshirt that said, the softball team loves Coach Epps, keep Coach Epps, something along those lines. Keep Coach Epps. Like, Uniondale didn't give a damn about softball. Didn't care. They had these girls looking, you should have saw the uniforms. The uniforms were straight from 1977. I had a bigger girl. She looked like a pack of Franks in the uniform. The shit was ripping on the sides. I literally had these girls put those uniforms on and go to the principal's office. Please, show them the uniform. So again, I was a baseball guy. I could teach you baseball all day. I could do baseball all day. I wasn't a softball guy. I didn't know how to teach windmill pitching. But again, I'm not a good loser. I hate losing. Not a good loser. So the next summer, what did I do? I went to Bayside again with Coach Steve Piakowski, I have the Angel Wall, who again is no longer with us. And I sat there with Steve Piakowski, and he taught me how to windmill pitch. I can teach windmill pitching now. He taught me how to do it. I was right there with girls, windmill pitching. So now, the Uniondale softball program is getting better. We're windmill pitching We did so much windmill pitching. You can ask, if any girl is on here, you can ask them. We would windmill pitch in hallways. We would windmill pitch in the gym. We would windmill pitch in the alley. Whatever we could get some room to just do windmill pitching, we would do it. Everything else I could do, I just didn't do. And windmill pitch is something you got to rep. You got to rep. You got to do it all the time. So now we're getting better. The program's getting better. I'm having 25 girls on a softball team. We're getting better. And then boom, here it comes. No, you're not a teacher, so you can't continue to coach this team. Meanwhile, the guy who coached the team was not a softball guy. He didn't care about it. Nobody cared about it until I cared about it. And with that comes a lot of relationships. And that's the how me and Ryan Jackson, the young lady that I brought on, that's how me and her relationship developed. And again, my wife says, you're a bleeding heart. You know, bleeding heart. I wound up bringing Ryan home and we making her dinner. And, you know, because there was some family issues with her. You know, a lot of things that was going on. So to make a long story short, that was ripped from under me, along with the football program. So now I'm back to, do I even want to coach kids? Do I even want to coach kids? But now my son's coming up the ranks. And I want to be able to coach my son. And I want to be able to support my son with his football career. His high school football career. So now, I'm screwed. Let me bring Keith on. Let me see if Keith is on. Keith is still here. Because Keith is going through a very similar situation with his daughter. His daughter just got a basketball job at Oneonta or something like that. Oneonta, or what's the other school Nolan Dante went to? Oswego. I think she just got a basketball job at Oswego. But she was trying to get a basketball job in her community at Riverhead. At Riverhead. She was trying to get a job at Riverhead. I think she was the assistant or something like that. She's trying to become the head coach. She's a young girl. She's about 24, 25 years old. But she's one of those girls. Keith, I'm adding you, Keith. Hit the button there so you can come on and you can tell the story better than me. So anyway, his daughter, about 24, 25 years old, is trying to get in to be the girls' Riverhead coach. Who better to be the Riverhead coach, girls basketball coach, than a girl who played there, than a girl who lives in the community? So she can always see the kids. She can always help the kids. And even better, she can keep those kids in line. We don't have enough foresight to see that. And if you know anything about Riverhead, it's a tough community. So who better to have in that community than a girl who played there, a girl who graduated there, a girl who went to college, came back, was an assistant, and now is looking to get the job? Who better? But nope, they hired somebody else. Somebody else who did not care. So being that he did not care, what's he do? He resigns. But he resigned after Keith's daughter became the basketball coach she's an assistant over at, what's the school again, Marie? Oswego. So Long Island has this thing where they will hire anybody before they hire somebody who's qualified. They will hire anybody before they hire somebody who's qualified. Look at your school. Look at your school. Look at your coach. And I'm not talking about Luongo from William Floyd. I'm not talking about Buddy Krumenaka from Farmingdale, who always gave me jewels. They knew what I was doing. They always dropped little jewels on me. Buddy said, you got to destroy to rebuild. Russ Selling at Freeport. I'm not talking about him. He always gave me jewels. I know It's like shoveling shit against the tide. Vin Masia from East Meadow. When the meeting was going a little too fast for me, he took me under his wing and showed me what to do. Antoine Moore, who gave me another chance. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about guys who are not qualified as football coaches, who get the job anyway, just because they work in the school. Not because they work in the school, because they're teachers. And the reason why that's possible, because that money's pensionable. They made sure that is in their contract. So the school can't fight against the contract for me. Actually, they can. But what happens is, because Uniondale did, but what happens is, now they say, we're taking you to court because you violated our contract. Farmingdale coach, a good guy. Hell yeah, he's a good guy. He ain't tolerating no bullshit either. He is a straight shooter. And that's the other thing. So then they tried to go at my character. Let me tell you something. There's a couple things I know about me. I'm a good guy. My heart is pure. I know that about myself. My heart is pure. I'm not a bad guy. I'm loud. I could be obnoxious. I'm ornery. I'm arrogant. I know that about me. But I also know that if you down and out, I'm the guy you need to have in your corner. I know that about me. I have a huge ego, but there are times when I can suppress it. There are also times when I can't suppress it. It's a conflict with me all the time. Dude was a substitute teacher, never played lacrosse, was coaching the Turtle Hook team. That's a fact. So now, I'm telling you guys this because nepotism also plays a huge role in what goes on in these schools. If you know somebody, you know a board member, oh, that is a major plus. So I'm saying this because Ben Lamberson, I don't know if Ben Lamberson is still on here, but Ben Lamberson on Facebook today, Amityville lost to Kings Park 41-0. And they are like, how does Amityville lose to Kings Park 41-0? I wasn't at the game. And I don't like piling on coaches because I am a coach and I know what that is. I hate when people do that shit when they're not at practice, when they're not in the school, they don't know what's going on in these practices and all this other stuff, but they tell you the coach sucks. Now, be clear. There are instances where the coach sucks, where he's just bad. He don't know what he's doing. Now, I go deep with this football shit. I go deep with this basketball shit. I go deep with this softball shit and this baseball shit. I go deep. So I'm very confident in my ability to coach. But like I tell you, I always tell people, if you don't have talent, I don't give a damn how good your coach is. If you don't have talent, you're not going to be able to win games. Now, there are instances where the coach is bad. I don't know what happened at that Kings Park game. I wasn't there, so I'm never going to comment on it. But what I am going to tell you is this. I love coaching. It's my passion. I didn't know what my passion was. I had no idea. I had no idea until I met my wife, and wow, this is it for me. I get to teach. I'm good at getting large groups of people to work to a common cause. I'm good at that. I am. I really am. And I know that about me. I am also fully aware that Amityville, for instance, just using Amityville as an example, may not be willing to deal with me because I'm not the one for the nonsense. I'm not the one for the politics. Again, like Buddy Krumenacker told me, it sticks with me. You have to destroy to rebuild. You have to destroy to rebuild. So all those kids that are failing classes, you have to destroy that notion that it's okay to fail classes. Lily Palmore will tell you. Lily Palmore will tell you. She worked with me at Lawrence Road. She worked with me at Lawrence Road, and she knows. She'll tell you there was a difference when I walked through that door. So all the bad things have to be broken down. And then you have to rebuild it to make it right again. I'm not tolerating being late. I'm not tolerating you missing practice. And don't tell me, oh, everybody has issues so you can miss practice. Yeah, that's like, this is your job. And if you could go to school or you could get some money through sports, then I'm down with it. And the school has to support it. If the school doesn't support it, you're like what's his name? Russ Sellers said to me, you're shoveling shit against the tide. You're shoveling shit against the tide. If the school doesn't support you, the school has to support you. It's no mistake that we see the same schools in the Long Island Championship. We see the same schools. It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Every year you see William Floyd in the championship. Go to a William Floyd football game. It's an event. It's an event. It's a happening. Go to Farmingdale. Go to Syosset. Go to Freeport, where everybody's wearing red. It's a thing. And then go to Uniondale. Go to Wyandanch. It's crazy. My door is open. Don't get it twisted. My door is open because I love coaching. But at the same time, I don't want to be involved with parents who don't care, kids who don't care, and schools who don't care. Know what I'm doing now? It's my son's senior year. I am in charge of breakfast for my son's football team. Me and my wife. We make sure all the breakfast is done. Just like somebody did for me when I was coaching. And unfortunately, just real talk, some of those schools you mentioned change coaches every 2 years. No, they don't. No, they don't. Oh, you talk about the lower schools. And to do some real talk, okay? Most of these schools are black schools. When I say black schools, the majority of the population of the school district is black. I don't know of one school district. I don't know of one black school district where the football game is an event. Know when it's an event? Oh, talk about the bad schools. Okay. Know when it's an event? It's an event in homecoming. Because black people know how to party, boy. Oh, we know how to throw a party. We know how to throw a barbecue. Oh, man. If you go to Hempstead High School on homecoming, oh, it's a beautiful thing. You walk in there and say, oh, the Tigers. Everything will stop. Oh, the Tigers. Yeah, the Tigers. That's a tradition. And let me tell you something. Hempstead tradition is rich. You know why? Because of Buddy. Leave that door open. Because of Buddy Krummenacker. Buddy Krummenacker left Hempstead, went to Farmingdale. He took all that tradition with him. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I was trying to build that in Uniondale. Trying to build that in Uniondale. So, Ben Lamberson, Keith Brown's daughter, who is the young lady who was the Riverhead assistant basketball coach, who's now coaching at Oswego. Congratulations. Listen, I would love to go back to my alma mater and take them to the Long Island Championship. I would love that. Nothing would make me feel better than take my alma mater to the Long Island Championship. But I don't know if I'm willing to fight all the time. I'm not willing to fight these people. And let me tell you something. The check ain't that good either. The check is not crazy. And I don't coach football for the check. I always told my assistants, listen, you want to be good? If you want to be good, don't look at your check. Because your work never equals what you get paid. The work you put out never equals what you get paid. You either had that back in the Didio days before the stroke. I'm not going there, Ronald Wakefield. So I would love, my dream is to coach Amityville, my alma mater, and or go to Longwood, something like that, and be able to help my alma mater win a Long Island championship. But I want to do it without the fight. And then let me tell you one last thing before I end this. The black coach in Nassau and Suffolk County, head coach don't get 8K. 8K is not enough. What coach gets 8K? Now, I will be honest. The Uniondale check is nice. What coach get 8K though, James Smith? What coach gets 8K? 8K ain't in every school district, bro. Huh? Over what period of time is right? Yeah. When you get 8K over what period of time? But not every school district is giving you 8K. That's what my school offered me to coach. That's your school. What school is that? What school is that, James Smith? Okay, so now the black coach is rare. The black coach looks at each other like, I don't know if I could trust you. The black coach don't take each other under their wing. And the black coach, for every 10 schools, there's probably one black coach. Probably more than that. Every 20 schools, there's probably one black head coach. And I was fully aware of all these things when I took this job. But I don't want to fight. I want to coach. I don't want to do the politics. I want to coach. That's what I'm good at. I'm not good at the politics. Westchester, New York. Yeah, okay. Westchester, New York is different, James. Peekskill High is different than Amityville High School or Wyandanch High School. Okay? I'm telling you it's different, my guy. You go to Wyandanch High School, the school has probably 300 kids, 30 kids on the team, very small school district, and maybe half the team or even more is being raised without a father in the home. And then when they have a father in the home, they think that they're so special that they can come talk to their coach any kind of way. They don't allow you to discipline kids the way they should be disciplined. Now, I'm not talking about going upside a kid's head, because somebody go upside my son's head, it's a fight. We're not doing that. But it's okay to push a kid to a goal that he may not know he can reach. He or she can reach. I've been coaching a long time. A long time. And I have some kids who couldn't stand me. Ben Patton. Is Ben Patton? I wonder if Ben Patton on here today. Ben Patton was one of those kids could not stand me. But when they leave me and they get to real life and all that shit I was telling them now is hitting them in their chest. Yo, Epps really wasn't that bad. Epps really wasn't that bad. You know, Epps knew what he was talking about. It's too much mollycoddling. It's too much mollycoddling. And when you my son came to me one day talking about, yo, the coach said this. Don't tell me what the coach said. I'll slap the shit out you talking about what the coach said. Don't tell me shit. You was wrong. And my mother always said, if the school got to call me for anything, you already wrong. My mother used to tell me, if the school calls me for anything, you are already wrong. Today, if the school calls the parent is immediately attacking the teacher, the coach, the principal, the guidance counselor. That's what happens today. Don't tell me it don't happen, because I seen it. I lived it. Listen to this. In Georgia, coaches make $75K and only coach football with no other jobs in the school. When we gonna realize that football is a class just like gym? It's a class. And the people who play, they're on the honor. The kids who play, they're on the honor roll in that class, because not everybody can do what they do. That's what makes the kids special. Not everybody can play football, go to class, go to do your homework, stay eligible. That's what makes them special. And you want to take what makes the kids special and put them with a teacher, or not so much a teacher, I should say a teacher. Put them with somebody who doesn't give a damn. Who doesn't give a damn when they walk out of that school. Oh, they good until they walk out of that school. Head coach of a top VA beach area. Hold on. Top VA beach area took a coaching job in Georgia. I see why now. I got to talk to my wife about that. Is she real? Nolan. James Simpson just said, coaches in Georgia make $75,000 a year. And all they do is coach. Now, that's the pressure I want. Oh, let me talk to you about Coach Joe Vito. I want that Georgia pressure, though. I want that pressure with making $75,000 where I got to coach my ass off to keep my job. I want that pressure. That's what I want. I ain't going to lie to you. I am not going to lie to you. That's the pressure I want as a coach. Because when you have that type of pressure, as a coach, what the parents say, the school has to back you because that's their money. And what the parents say or what everybody else, everybody's now participating. So I talked to you about Coach Selling. I talked to you about Coach Krimenaka. I talked to you about Coach Vin Massia. And then there's another young man that has been nothing but good to me. And that's Coach Joe Vito from Roosevelt High School. Now, let me tell you about Coach Joe Vito. Joe Vito don't even have money every year to buy new balls. I went to do something with Joe Vito at Roosevelt High School, and the kids was playing basketball with a football. All hell almost broke loose because he said, you guys are going to ruin the ball. All we have is 2 more balls yet left. All he had was 2 more balls left, and it was early in the football season. It was summertime. All he had was 2 balls to get him through the season. Joe Vito, I've seen Joe Vito. I don't know if I should say this or not. Help so many black kids on his dollar. So many black kids on his dollar. I saw him feed black kids. I've seen him dress black kids. I've seen him buy cleats for black kids. Man, let me tell you something. Joe Vito, and Joe Vito ain't going nowhere. There's other jobs Joe Vito could go to and make more money. Joe Vito ain't going nowhere because he loves those kids. Joe Vito is that guy for real. No funny stuff. Is there coaching classes? Yes, you have to go to coaching classes to get your license. You have to go to philosophy, principles. There's another one, organization, philosophies, principles. You have to take a first aid. You have to take a child abuse. You have to take a defibrillator. You have to take a CPR. That's up. We're up to 8 classes. 7 classes already, and I think I'm missing one. Joe Vito bailed my black ass out of jail. Yes, fucking jail. Joe Vito's that guy for real. I saw Joe Vito 2 weeks ago. And there's one more thing I needed to touch on before I go on to the Yankees. One more thing I need to touch on before I go to the Yankees. I saw Joe Vito a couple of weeks ago, and Joe Vito was out there coaching the shit out those black kids. He was out there coaching the shit out of the black kids. Bosie has a class when I got my certificate. Yes. Bosie has all those classes. Now, let me tell you another interesting fact about the white coach, the black coach in Long Island. The black coach in Long Island, if he raises his voice, if he pushes a kid, if he yells at a kid, oh, everybody's all over that. Everybody's all over that. And let me tell you something. The black kid is going to tell on the black coach. He's going to tell on the black coach. He's going to be mad at the black coach. He's going to get his grandmother, because the father can't be found. So he's going to get the grandmother to come out there with the black coach. Listen to me. The white coaches, when they undress a black kid, ain't shit being said. Ain't shit being said by that black parent. Ain't shit being said by that black kid. Let me tell you something. I've seen white coaches undress a player. That's part of the deal. Don't get it twisted. That is part of the deal. He ain't doing nothing to that kid but making that kid better. This is why our kids don't know how to react to the word no. He ain't doing nothing but making that kid better. Buddy Krumenacker gets kids from group homes. Russ Sellers works in the black community. He ain't doing nothing but making that kid better. Listen, I saw Russ Sellers yell at the Brickashaw Ferguson. I saw him undress him. And Brickashaw said, yes, coach, and went back to doing what he was supposed to be doing. And I know why this happens. I know why this happens to black coaches, by black kids. I know why. Because black kids dislike their father so much that when a black man reprimands them and reminds them of their father. I have a kid on my team like that right now. He can't look at me as Coach Epps trying to get him to do something, trying to get him to get us to be better as a team, to be better as a unit, and him to be better as a man. He can't see that because he has so much disdain for his father. So when I get at him, he looks at it as, yo, Epps thinks he's my father. My father don't even talk to me like that. How about his father don't even talk to him? No. 2017, 36 head football coaches made over 100K. Google it. Come on down. Man, I got to talk to my wife about that. I really got to talk to my wife about that. And I love coaching. If I could coach all day long, I would. I ain't gonna lie. I would. I love the smell of footballs. I love the smell of the locker room when it's empty. I don't like that funk all the goddamn time. But an empty locker room with a hint of musk in that motherfucker, I love that. I love the feeling of a winning a football game. I love that feeling. It's euphoric. Winning a football game is euphoric to me. I love it. I love how it feels. I love to see the smile on a lineman's face when he ain't touched the ball all day, but he got the sense of accomplishment. I love the wit. I love breaking down film. Oh, I love breaking down film. I love the matching of wits with another coach. He makes an adjustment, I make an adjustment. I love it. The little subtleties of the game. I love it. I love basketball. I love walking into a gym. Listen, we played Cardozo. Bayside played Cardozo, and we were supposed to lose by 20. Man, I will never forget my pre-game speech. I will never forget the feeling. I will never forget that feeling. I will never forget coaching Uniondale softball team. Those girls, oh my God. Listen, I love those girls to this day. Those girls are so special to me. All of them. All of them. From the first team when we was awful. When we was awful. So now I'm teaching them how to pitch. To an umpire saying, yo, man, we used to hate coming here, but now we can watch a game. Now it's a decent game because your girls couldn't get the ball over the plate. To us, almost making the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs. We missed them by one game. I will never forget that. I love it. It's who I am. You will see people call me coach. That's who I am. I love my assistants that rock with me. I love my assistants that rock with me. Because you know my assistants know. My assistants know. A smart assistant. Not all of them are smart. But a smart assistant knows that they could do pretty much whatever they want on my staff. If it's for the team, they can do pretty much whatever they want. And they got my backing no matter what. No player can go curse John Stowers, Rich Christopher, Ron Morrow, Derwin Collins. Can't none of them, who am I missing anybody? Stanley Mann. Can't nobody go curse my assistant. Can't no player go curse my assistant. There's nothing that a player can say to my assistants. Andre Berry, who was my assistant a long time in softball and football. Guys like Joe Capuano, who gave me a chance, put me under their wing. Even Frank DiVenuto from Amityville. I love coaching. It's who I am. It's who I am. It just don't pay the bills all the time. So it's not something I can maintain doing. But it's who I am. I am a coach all day long. My son plays this weekend. I may have, no exaggeration, my son plays this weekend. I may have 10 to 15 of my players or former players attend Nolan's game. I got a player right now whose mom died. His mom died. He's going through it right now. He's a loose cannon. He is a loose cannon. Do not get it twisted. I'm worried to death about him because I know how he get down. I'm trying to get him to come here. Today, I tried to go find him. I tried to go find him today. Then I had to catch myself. I said, yo, where's a grown man going to be walking around in Uniondale? I tried to find him today. I spent like 10 minutes in Uniondale driving around trying to find Jabal. It's who I am. I'm a coach. So if I had the opportunity to coach again, being that my son is graduating, I probably would mull it over. But it's hard. It's hard because the position, coaching is something that I love, but coaching wasn't always, I should say coaching. The people, the school districts who wanted me to come there because their school was a mess or their football team was a mess because I'm a strong personality. They didn't always take care of me. And it hurt because I'm one of those guys who's all in. I'm all in emotionally. It hurt. Listen, Amityville hurt me because that was my alma mater. But Uniondale crushed me. Oh, my God. Uniondale crushed me because I put so much time. I put my money. I had my wife. I had my kids. Oh, man, Uniondale crushed me. And it's because of the teacher's contract. And football, I'm sorry, coaching football is not a one-year deal. You need at least 4 years to get the school or to get the team the way you want it. You need at least 4 years. I had 3 and a quasi 4th. You need 4 years. Because, like Buddy Krumenacker said, you got to destroy to rebuild. You got to destroy it. And then you got to fix it. So I'm sorry if I got a little emotional. Ben Lamberson, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I got a lot. Listen, I just saw Andy Slauson. Andy Slauson is a Bayshore alumnus. And he came to our breakfast. And me and my wife are serving breakfast to the kids. And he came, he said, yo, you're No Laps. I was like, yeah. Who are you? And he's like, I'm Andy Slauson of the Newsday. I used to cover you when you was at Uniondale. Man, you got a raw deal at Uniondale. That's exactly what he told me. Not being prompt, nothing. Lamar Thompson's my other assistant. To whom I probably wouldn't be coaching today if it wasn't for Lamar. I wouldn't be coaching the Long Island Red Devils. But Andy Slauson comes in and he says, wow, you got a raw deal at Uniondale, man. I said, listen, Andy, when you're ready, I got a story to tell. Oh, yeah, Riverhead, believe in me, heavy. I fucks with Riverhead all day. Marie, listen to this. In Georgia, a head football coach makes $75 to $100K, and all he does is coach. Huh? Oh, really? Okay. A lot of these teachers don't even know football like that, but just want to collect the check. That's 100% a fact. But the reason why they want to collect the check is because the money is pensionable. So guess what? Let's just think human nature. If you could collect another 8 to 10 grand on your check, and the money's pensionable, and it means for you to sit outside for another 2 hours after school for 3 months, you would do it too. You would do it too. But as parents, we don't know that. As parents, we don't know that. So when it comes around, I said, damn, my son made all league. My son was all county. My son played in the Boomer game. Why ain't the colleges coming knocking on his door? Because guess what? And that's the other thing. I built great relationships with a lot of colleges. Great relationships. To this day, I will have a college coach call me and ask me about a kid where I formerly coached. I'm like, yo, I don't even know that kid, coach. Sorry, I'm no longer there. To this day. So sometime in December, January, Thanksgiving, I'm going to have a coach call me and ask me a question about a kid to whom I don't even know because I'm no longer at that school. I love coaching. I love kids. I'm a people person. I love people. I love people. I am a people person. I like to make it fun. I like to make it tough sometimes. I like to pull back the reins. I like to yell at you. I like to hug you. I like to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And when I talk to you as a coach, player, friend, father, I'm not giving you no bullshit. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you got to hear. I mean, I like it. I don't even like it all the time. I'll be honest with you. I don't even like it all the time. Sometimes my wife got to tell me what I got to hear. Woo! That shit's tough because it's tough on my ego. High school coach, high school ones, that is very few of them. High school coaches don't have much to do as far as recruiting. With Huddle and YouTube, they do it all themselves. Yes, Abdul is right. Huddle has changed the game. But let me tell you, when I was coaching, right, we would have the Monday night after the last game of the season in Nassau Conference 1 was the night where we had to vote for all county picks, all league picks, and all that other stuff. So you have to come in with a DVD or tape. At that time, it's DVD. Listen, I would have to take off from school to make DVDs for about 10 kids. I would literally have to take off from school, bring all these DVDs, and this was, now I'm up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning making DVDs and college films and all this other stuff for kids. He's right. Huddle has changed the game. But still, your high school coach better have some relationships out there with college coaches. He better have them. If he doesn't have them, he's doing your child a disservice. Trust me. You're the reason I got into coaching. Love your style and how you go about it, and wouldn't want it any other way is what I'm saying. Yes, Rich. Thank you, Rich. Rich is my guy. Rich is my guy, because another thing they tell you, not only coaches semi-pro, they're like, oh, you can't demand grown men to come to practice. What? It's the semi-pro way. You can't tell a grown man to come to practice. Well, guess what? That grown man can't play for me. Ha! Oh, you can't tell a grown man to play with one team. What? That grown man can't play for me. And I don't give a damn how talented he is. There's a receiver who wants to play with me he wants to play for the Long Island Red Devils so bad. But he thinks he's so goddamn special that he can make me his second team, his side bitch. Oh, no. You stay over there with them. When you're ready to play for me and just me, let me know. Football ain't the type of sport where you can play 2 games in a weekend or 2 games in one day. Football's not that type of sport. So guess what? I'm not getting 100% of you. I'm giving you 100% of me, but I'm not getting 100% of you in return. So screw you. We damn 22 guys. He said, damn right. 22 guys a week gone. If we don't have 22 people at practice, practice is canceled. Oh, and we ain't waiting out there all day either. So practice starts at 10 o'clock, 10:15. We don't have 22 people. We gone. You ain't going to hold me hostage. Y'all be there in an hour. What? Okay. Punter from my high school told Joe Pa no thanks for a scholarship and walked on to FSU. Joe Pa never came back. That's a fact. That's a fact. I've seen that happen. We had a kid go to Hofstra when Hofstra had a football program. Kid was a great player, but the kid was a hypochondriac and would miss practice. Yo, coach, tell Hofstra about this kid. Tell him. Because if you don't tell him, hey, know who was the coach? Sutton. Sutton was the coach. I think he's the defensive coordinator with Kansas City. Oh, he was the defensive coordinator with the Kansas City, the Jets. He was the defensive coordinator at Hofstra at the time. Yo, coach, tell Coach Sutton about my man. I'm not going to mention his name. Tell him about my man, because if you don't tell him and he pulls this act in college, guess what? They're never going to come back to us for another kid. He didn't tell him. That kid went out to Hofstra, played one day, was on a scholarship, $40,000 to go to Hofstra for a year, $40,000. He was on a full scholarship, went for one day, did not show up. Did not show up again. One day. Guess what? Hofstra didn't come back to us for another kid. I'm only telling you facts. It's about creating structure and being organized. A lot of semi-pro teams don't have that. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not schematically better than a lot of coaches. I'm not schematically better than a lot of coaches. What I am is I'm organized. I'm organized to a fault. Look at my wife's face. Look at my wife's face. Go ahead. Look. I'm organized to a fault. Listen, if I can't find my nail clipper, there is beef in this house. I'm sorry, but that's who I am. My wife says I'm anal retentive. Like I could put a pen down. And I know where that pen is 12 hours later. That's just who I am. I'm sorry. So when I go out to a football field and you watch my practice, my practice is organized. I'm a time Nazi too. Oh, yeah. Coach, get what you need to get done within this half hour. Whatever we need to get done, get it done in this half hour because we got to move. That's just who I am. I'm sorry. I'm also that guy. Watch this. Watch, I'm going to show you her face. I'm also that guy. If you tell me to be somewhere at 12 o'clock, I'm there at 12 o'clock. If we go to a party, let's say the party starts at 11 o'clock. She gets mad at me all the time. Party 11 o'clock. Sometimes we are there helping set up. It's the truth. It's just who I am. Right? She hates that shit because she's into that CP time shit. I can't do it. Not only can I do it, I get funny. Like I feel pressure. I get anxiety. I feel pressure. I'm late. I feel pressure. Sorry. It's just who I am. Didn't mean to go over an hour and a half on Long Island coaching. Didn't mean to do that. Hopefully Ben Lamberson. And guess what? I'm saying what I'm saying. And I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm not mad. I'm not ashamed. I'm not. Listen, it is what it is. And if nobody wants to hire me, that's fine too. But we need to know the truth, okay? I need to give y'all the truth about coaching in Long Island. If you are not a teacher in that building, you better hope nobody wants that job. And if there's a scientist in the building who just wants to try football coaching as a hobby because the check is pensionable, guess what? He is going to get that job. The black schools don't care. The black schools don't care. They don't care enough about football. It's not an event. Go to a black school and ask for parents to volunteer for cooking hot dogs. I dare you. Go see how that works. My wife did it. And being a football wife is special. She's a football wife. We got maybe one more year of this. Maybe one more year. Maybe if I get a job, maybe 4 more years. But I'm happy to be the Long Island Red Devils football coach. The Long Island Red Devils, listen, I'm providing opportunities. Got a kid that went to Canada, got a kid that went to Europe, got a kid that went to the arena. I'm providing opportunities still. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that I set a standard. I set a standard for semi-pro football. Not everybody does that. So now I'm starting to see, people don't understand, I'm starting to see people follow me. Say, you know what? If Epps can do it, I can do it. If Epps can tell a guy, play with my one team, guess what? I can do it. And Epps is successful. But 7 and 3, 11 and 4, 11 and 4, and 11 and 2. So 22 and 6 over the past 2 years, plus these 5 wins and 1 loss. So I'm 27 and 7. I'm 27 and 7 in the last 3 years. I'm trying to get a championship, baby. When I get a championship, y'all can't even understand what Not Just Sports by Nolep is going to be like when I get this championship. My only thing is I got to drag my team along. I got to drag my team along. I'm going to drag their ass, kicking and screaming too. Let me move on. I was only supposed to do an hour, but I got 20 minutes left. Let's talk about the Yankees. That's what I was supposed to be talking about, the Yankees. All those losses could have gone the other way. Yep, they sure could have. They sure could have. They could have gone the other way. We ain't never got blown out. Well, once we got blown out by the Rebels. But the Rebels got an NFL quarterback on their team. What do you? Okay, I get it. Our guys wasn't ready to run into his bigger ass. But let's talk about the Yankees. The Yankees are in big trouble. You so-called Yankee fans will regret the day that Cashman did not sign Joe Girardi. You are going to regret the day that he tells you that he doesn't sign Joe Girardi because he coaches every game, he manages every game like it's Game 7 of the World Series. What? Why? Why is that a problem? Why is a man that wants to press his team to succeed a problem? This is not a Yankee problem. This is a nationwide problem for millennials. They got rid of Joe Girardi. They got rid of Joe Girardi because he demanded excellence. He demanded excellence from Sanchez, Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is the worst catcher in Major League Baseball today. He's the worst catcher in Major League Baseball. He demands excellence, and that's a problem. I'm just arguing with this guy. Again, he says he's talking to a high school coach, And he asked the high school coach, does the high school coach have a problem if a kid is ineligible on his team and then decides to go play with the local Pop Warner team because he's ineligible? Hell yeah! Hell yeah, that's a problem. Why do you reward failure? Why would we reward failure? But that's what parents do today. That's what parents, you know why parents do that? Because they're worried about what other parents think. The baby failing every goddamn thing. He got an iPhone 10 and some Jordans, though. Baby failing every goddamn thing. He got an iPhone 10 and some Jordans. He fails off the. This is a major problem. This is a major problem in AAU basketball. This is a major problem in AAU basketball. I had the #1 point guard in the city in my school when I was coaching basketball. #1 point guard in the city. That son bitch ain't go to one class. Oh, he ain't go to one class. He ain't go to one class. But he was playing basketball every day because he was on the AAU circuit where you don't need eligibility. In the city, this is more of a city thing than it is a Long Island thing. In the city, they have what they call intermediates. These kids are 14, 15, 16 years old. Intermediate Pop Warner football. What? Why isn't the Pop Warner leagues telling the kid, go play high school ball? Why isn't the AAU telling the kids, go play high school ball? Because these kids want the easy way out, just like Gary Sanchez. Aaron Boone ain't no baseball manager. He's a computer analyst. Because they want to do analytics. The Yankees want to do analytics. Boone is not coaching from his heart. Boone's not coaching from his gut. Boone is reading an iPad. And the iPad says, in this situation, you need to do this. So because Boone is a goddamn robot and Cashman is an idiot, they lose out on Joe Girardi, where the Yankees are in major, major trouble. The Yankees are one game above the Oakland A's right now for that wild card spot. One game. They was double digits earlier. They're one game above the Oakland A's. Now, you say, oh, well, they'll make the second wild card with no problem. Why would you want to go play? Why would you want to go from New York to Oakland? New York to Oakland, for those of you who leave your states, because some of you don't leave your state, going to Oakland is about a 6-hour, 7-hour flight. Go to Oakland, play a game. Let's say you win that game. Now you have to fly back to go play Boston? Who wants to do that? The personnel sucks. The pitching staff sucks. And the one person to blame is Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman let a man who is going to manage every game like it's game 7. Give me that guy over a guy who wants to read an iPad all goddamn day. This Yankee team, let's call a spade. This Yankee team is better than last year's team. And guess what? They're going to get knocked out of the playoffs earlier. Let's go around at a wet paper bag with a spiked bat. So all of a sudden, because he can't hit, he can't catch the ball, he's supposed to be a golden glove first baseman. Now he can't catch the ball. That's a problem. Second baseman, Torres, he's young. We'll give him a pass. But he's not a great second baseman, okay? Gregorius is fantastic. Andujar, a surprise. He can hit the shit out of a ball. He can't catch it. That's a problem. How your third baseman can't catch the ball? And that's the reason why I said, don't go get Machado. Now I'm looking at it. Go get Machado. Gary Sanchez can't catch a goddamn beach ball. He's awful. Giancarlo Stanton, he's a DH because he can't catch a ball. He's awful in the field. And he's okay as a hitter. Okay. Don't give me all the inflated home run numbers. Brett Gardner's done. Andrew McCutchen is here. I love Andrew McCutchen. You're going to see Andrew McCutchen. He's one of those guys who likes the bright lights. He's one of those guys, the bigger the game, the better he'll play. That's who Gregorius is. Hicks, love him. Hicks, love him. He's a young boy. Love him. And Aaron Judge is awesome. This whole team is different without Aaron Judge. The pitcher staff. Listen, every Japanese pitcher that the Yankees have has been average to awful. We haven't had a great Japanese pitcher yet. Every single one has been average to awful. From Hideki Aramu to this guy. What's his name? What I forget his damn name. CC is old. But CC's a dog, though. Because CC's old, but he still gives you quality. Your boy, Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray? I think he's Kevin Brown. I think Sonny Gray is Kevin Brown. He just can't pitch in Yankee Stadium. Can't pitch in the Bronx. And then the rest of those guys are awful. J.A. Happ has been great. J.A. Happ has been great. I got to give him credit. He's been great. The rest of them guys is awful. And the Yankees are trying so hard to stay under this $200 million salary cap. So what you're going to do in about 3 years, where Aaron Judge wants his money, what you going to do? When you going to get rid of Bird? What are we waiting for? This Yankee team, and let me tell you another thing before you guys start to shit on Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi took his team last year that was worse than this team. He took them to a game before the playoffs. He took them to Game 7 in the championship round. Aaron Judge ain't gonna get out the second round. Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone ain't gonna get out the second round because he is managing with an iPad. He's a robot. He's not a manager. And this is all Cashman's fault. Don't tell me shit about Steinbrenner. Don't tell me shit about Hal Steinbrenner. This is Cashman's fault. Because Cashman walked into that office and said, I could do this without Joe Girardi. And obviously you can't. I want a coach that's going to put pressure on me. I want to play with a certain level of pressure. I'm just telling you facts. I want a coach with a certain level of pressure. That's why I would go to Atlanta. And if somebody said, yeah, we're going to pay you $100,000, come to Atlanta, and it's year-to-year contract, you got to win. Oh, shit. I would love to do that. I want that pressure. Even when I play sports, when I play basketball and softball especially, I am the biggest shit talker out there. I am the biggest shit talker out there. And I talk that shit, you know why? Because it gives me a certain level of pressure where I have to perform. When I'm not talking shit, I'm not good. But when you talk shit, that you put pressure on yourself to perform. Pressure breaks pipes or pressure makes diamonds. I'm usually a diamond almost all the time. I've had bad days. I don't have two of them, though. I don't have two in a row. Oh, no. If I had a bad day on Monday, you had best believe I'm coming correct on Tuesday. So there it is, everybody. Yankees are in major trouble. Yankees are in major trouble. We have issues. Aaron Boone sucks. Brian Cashman screwed up in a major way. This team is better than last year's team, and this team is going to get exited earlier than last year's team. That's a fact. This team ain't going to the World Series. Who's your ace pitcher? Severino? Severino ain't been right since Gary Sanchez had another pass ball that jogged after it, and the runner from second base scored. Severino ain't been right since then. You don't have the pitching to do this. You're not hitting, and you're damn sure not catching the ball. Yankees are in trouble. And I also gave you why it's difficult for a man like me who loves coaching, who works hard at it. I work hard at that shit. Love it. We'll sit here for hours on one play. Why it's hard for people like me to coach in high school in Long Island today. Yep. I'm going to look into that Atlanta situation, though. $75,000 to coach. I could go for 3 months. She said, yeah. I'll go wait for 3 months and do all my coaching and shit from here. I can do that. You guys have a good evening. Football game tonight. Ravens win their second game. And snowfall. I got to get caught up in snowfall. You guys enjoy yourself. Have a good evening. Peace.